Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Foreman, and this board right here needs absolutely no introduction because John Florence and the WSL are doing an incredible job of promoting it. It's the Pyzel Ghost, and this is my own Pyzel Ghost 6.3, and this board is a good board, and it's definitely become a very popular board. I mean, just based on the performance. I mean, everybody, you know, it's one thing when everybody's buying what the pro rides, and a lot of times it doesn't work for them, but people are buying this board because John's riding it, but they're also buying it because all their friends have it and all their friends love it. And what's going on with this board with the Ghost is that John Pyzel pulled the wide point forward, flattened the rocker in the front of the board, and then pulled it into a nice rounded pintail in the back. And so originally it was made as a barrel board, as a compact barrel board. So much like the shortcut that he makes, this is a refined version of a shortcut. And so what does refined mean? Refined means that if you heated the board up in a giant microwave oven, pinched the nose of the tail and just stretched it out a little bit longer, what would happen is the board would pull, and if it was made out of like silly putty, everything would get stretched and everything would get thinner and a little bit more sleek. And that's what happened with the Ghost. So if you look at this board compared to a shortcut, it's a little bit more foiled on the rails. You're gonna ride it a little bit longer than the shortcut, but it's gonna do a lot of the same things that the shortcut did and still does. And we found that board to be really good in barreling surf, but also to have a big range when the waves were even softer as well. And the Ghost does that, and that's why John is able to basically ride the same board, you know, at Big Margaret River in Western Australia, and then also use the same board and use it at average trestles and have a really good time on it. So we've surfed this board here at home at Cape Hatteras in like barreling beach break and point break surf, and then we've also taken it on trips and ridden it in that same type of wave, but we've also ridden it in some pretty soft conditions. I would say, obviously, the bigger wave surfing on this board and the barrel surfing on this board is impressive, and it's what this board is known for. I think where this board surprises a lot of people is that if you take it on a trip, like one time we took it to Las Flores, El Salvador, and riding it backside at Las Flores, which is a pretty soft wave, in not really big conditions either, and the board still held its own and was able to generate speed and do good turns and have a fun time on. John Pyzel, you know, recommends this board as a really good travel board if you're going to a place with good waves, and I would definitely back that up. You know, another travel experience, Matt Nuzzo from Reel took this board when we went to Fiji this year, and he surfed it at every wave in Fiji. He surfed it in Namotu lefts, swimming pools, cloud break, restaurants, the whole trip. He was riding this one board, and he had other boards with him, but he kept going back to this board as being the main board that he surfed on the trip. And it was just a really rangy board, front side, back side, big, small, hollow, mushy. It would work. Obviously, there's going to be better. If you're in small, mushy waves, there's going to be a better board specifically for that. But the fact that you can take a board that you're buying for barrels or buying for bigger waves and ride it in that stuff and still have it work is really good. The other thing I want to say about this board, because there's a lot of other, you know, quote-unquote barrel boards out there, this board has the most shortboard feel, I would say, in that category. And by that, I mean, it has the ability to not only paddle well and catch the wave and get barreled, but it also has the ability to turn. So a lot of the boards in that category are pretty straight on the outline and the rocker, and so when you're trying to turn them outside of the tube, they don't turn as well as the shortboard, and that's why you see people getting on and off of a shortboard. The Ghost has, I would say, the most shortboard influence in it in that category, and it has the ability to turn on an open face, and like I said, even backside on a mushy face, it'll still make it happen in those conditions as well. The last thing to say about this board is is the paddling ability and the wave catching ability. You don't have to ride it supersized in order to catch bigger waves. So you see like John, but he's a freak of nature, but he's riding like a 6.2 when everybody else is on a 6.8. But with this board, you don't have to ride it really big because of the majority of the foam being, you know, from between my hands. It's all underneath your chest. It's all like where you weigh the most. And it's helping you get into the wave. So it's not like you have to go super big on these things to catch a lot of waves. I mean, obviously, like ride it at your performance board volume or a little bit above your performance board volume if you're going to be riding in a big surf. But you're literally going to have to jump 4 or 5 liters to get a noticeable difference in the bigger waves above that. And so without confusing you, I'll give you an example. Like I was riding this one, and I went up to like a 6.8 and still wasn't catching any more wave than I was catching on my 6.3. When I went to the 6.10, then I can catch anything I wanted, like on the next, you know, sandbar or reef out. But, you know, going up a couple sizes literally made no difference because the foam is so concentrated underneath you that you don't have to go supersized in order to catch it. You literally have to take a couple jumps bigger to catch a bigger wave. The Pyzel Ghost, one of the best boards out there right now from John Pyzel. Definitely check this one out, especially if you're looking for something for the top half of your quiver and a really rangy travel board for going to good places where you're going to be getting a lot of good waves. If you have any more questions on this board, you can give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or you can look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.